back to another episode of Decentralized Chain. It's Feroz, your host, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about some of the hottest picks for August. But before we get into it, make sure, if you're not already, to hit that subscribe button below. Drop a follow me on Twitter as well. Hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. Now, let's get into it. Let's zoom in to a smaller screen. Now, for those of you who don't know, there is a great site out there called Token Unlocks. And what it does, for some of you that may or may not know, there are some large token unlocks happening in August, which is what we're going to look at. And we're going to use this site to kind of help us guide us through that, to make sure that we can pick some projects that certainly could have a good opportunity to get into. Now, again, these tokens that we see on here on Token Unlock, they are tokens that were previously locked up for various reasons. You know, it can be vesting, staking, governance. And the thing is, when these tokens become available into the market, they can have a significant impact on price. So let's take a look at some of those tokens that are unlocking in August and what you need to know about them. So first up, we've got is the sandbox. Now, this is the native token of the sandbox, decentralized gaming platform where users can create, play, and monetize their own games and virtual worlds. So $Sand, which is the native token, is used actually for buying and selling assets, once again accessing premium features and participating in governance. Now, if we have a look at Sand on the Token Unlock website, we can see the next unlock is upcoming on the 14th of August. It's around 332 million sand that are coming out, which roughly represents about $134 million worth. So a little shy of 16.16% of circulating supply. That's a lot of tokens. 16% of tokens, that's a lot of tokens. So what we can do is, if you actually scroll down on this website, what you see is the vesting schedule. And under the vesting schedule, you can see exactly who is getting that supply, right? Is it the team? Is it seed sales? Is it, things from Binance Launchpad? Is it the foundation? Is it advisors? You can see all of these things. And so from there, we have the team, and I would say majority is team and advisors, as well as investors from the strategic sale and the seed sale. There's some big chunks here in the dark gray that you can see. Ultimately, that's coming out. And from my perspective, certainly investors, seed sales, advisors, they are the ones that are most likely to sell their tokens to cash out and diversify their portfolio. So to me, it would make sense. It would make sense if we see the price of sand dropping after the unlock. But here's the thing. The token price actually, if we look at it on the yearly, is actually already at a low. It's already close to its 2023 lows, interestingly enough. So the unlock may already be priced in by the market, which means that we might not see much downside left for sand. And it could even bounce back if there's enough demand from gamers and creators. So if you're bullish on the sandbox and its potential to ultimately become the leading gaming platform in the metaverse, and this did very well in the 2021 bull run, this could be a good opportunity to pick up some sand at a discount. The next one that we have coming up on the list is Avalanche. The native token for Avalanche is $AVAX. And again, Avalanche is a high-performance blockchain platform that supports smart contracts, dApps, interoperability with other blockchains. So again, the actual native token itself is used for paying for fees, securing the network, and participating in governance. Now, if we have a look, they actually have quite a relatively small unlock coming up. Just over 9.5 million AVAX tokens represents about $120 million worth. So 2.76% of the circulating supply, which isn't bad. It's a small number. You wouldn't expect that much of a dip in terms of the price. In terms of who is actually getting those tokens. Let's have a little look in here. So we've got a big chunk for stake and rewards. You've got a small chunk for the foundation. There are some for the team. And then the others are sort of incentivization, public sale options. So again, here, I would say it's mainly team and strategic partners. Now, again, usually with teams and strategic partners, these are people who are most likely to hold, in my opinion, their token for the long term, or use them ultimately to grow the ecosystem. So it pretty much goes back into the ecosystem. So it would make sense to me to see AVAX price holding up well after the unlock more than anything else. And again, we are kind of near the lows, to be honest. If something drastic were to happen, in all honesty, a big push down from here ultimately would be somewhere at around, I would suspect, strong support around the $11.5 mark more than anything else. So again, if you're bullish on Avalanche, clearly its potential to become one of the leading blockchain platforms for DeFi and NFTs, then this could be a good opportunity to accumulate some AVAX at a reasonable price. You might have guessed the next one. We've got a bit of a theme going here in terms of what we're really reviewing, is yet another blockchain, Optimism. Optimism, so for those who aren't familiar, is the $OP, is the native token of Optimism. It's a layer 2 blockchain on top of Ethereum. So Optimism benefits from the security of the Ethereum mainnet. And ultimately, it's there as a scaling solution. Help Ethereum ecosystems by using optimistic rollups. And what that really means is that transactions are trustlessly recorded on Optimism, but ultimately secured on Ethereum. Now, in terms of the unlocks, let's have a look. I would say they have somewhat of again, small unlock, 24.16 million Optimism tokens, represents around 3.3% of the circulating supply. That's about $41 million worth coming back into the market. But again, it's not too bad like we've seen before. It's quite a small amount. And in terms of who is actually getting these tokens, let's have a little look. A big chunk here is core contributors. There is also a chunk from investors as well. But again, it's such a small amount. I'm not expecting a huge downside in terms of price. Contributors tend to kind of hold. Investors, obviously they like to take a bit of profit. So again, for me, I wouldn't necessarily see too much of a dip on Optimism. I suspect you'll stay quite stable after the unlock. But again, there's a lot of hype around the project. It clearly has potential in terms of becoming a leading L2 solution for Ethereum. It's featured in many crypto media outlets at the end of the day. So, I think even after the unlocks, we'll most likely see not much of a dip in price. And again, if you're bullish on Optimism, and if anything, it's just making its way higher. Back to earlier May highs, I suspect will be the next resistance point for us. And I think if we can break 183, then likelihood is we will see further continuation in price in terms of going to the upside. So if you're bullish on Optimism and its potential to become a leading L2 on Ethereum, then this could be a good time to start DCAing in a bit before ultimately it takes off. But certainly, if I was a betting man, not financial advice, Optimism certainly would be in my picks for the next bull run. And last but not least, you may have guessed it. That's right, Injective protocol, the blockchain built for finance. The idea is fully centralized L1 blockchain, specifically focusing more on the finance side of things. Now, Injective has a very small unlock from what we can see. Again, 3.4%, 2.8 million tokens, roughly represents about $22 million worth at today's prices. And that's on the 21st of August. And let's have a look. Who is getting the chunk of the tokens here? So a lot of it is the team. As we can see, advisors are getting a small piece of the pie. There's some in the seed sale. There's a decent chunk from the private sale, interestingly enough. But again, with the amount that's coming out, I'm not really expecting a massive dip in price. It's a little over 3%. So for me, I personally wouldn't see too much in terms of price action happening on injective. And if anything, over the past year, in all honesty, I think we've kind of finished revisiting the lows that we saw back in December, which is around $1.60. If anything, we're just slowly going to see, I think, more sideways action on this. And again, there's a big chunk for the teams, but teams are unlikely to sell the token right away, right? They'll probably sell gradually over a period of time, over a few months, avoid dumping the price, hurting their reputation. These are quite big things. So again, I think a little bit of selling pressure, but not too much. So it may well be a decent time. So again, if you're bullish on injective protocol, and again, I think it has great potential in terms of leading the decentralized exchange protocols here in the crypto space. And this could be a good time to start accumulating some injective protocol at a fair price. So that's it. That's what we have for August. These are some of the tokens that I think could be a good pick for this month. And of course, this is not financial advice, just my personal opinion. Always do your own research. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. I hope you've enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, guys. Give it a thumbs up. Let's get this shared and share it with your friends. Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts and questions. And obviously, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, Decentralized Chain, for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next episode.